if you guys are on Twitter, you've all seen Admiral Levine and you've all gone like, oh, I'm so sick of people being mean to Admiral Levine. Like they all think our military is pathetic because we have trans people in charge of our military. No one's afraid of our military. The liberals will hate to see you wearing a shirt that says love like Jesus. So that's the state of the Republican Party, is like the liberals hate you and they want the trans people in charge. All right, so like 13 years ago, were trans people allowed in the military? No, we had don't ask, don't tell. Like you're not even allowed to be gay openly. I've said, like, if you tell me that I'm not allowed to tell you I have a husband, then I would never be in the military. Why would I be in your military? And that's why I've always kind of gone like, Pete Buttigieg, like, you're a liar. Like, I know you're a liar. Like, I know, like, who you are. You're someone who freaking lies. And that's why they like you in Washington, D.C. Like, you deep down will lie like a mother effer. So 13 years ago, trans people weren't allowed in the military. How long does it take to become an admiral? Well, according to what I see here, like it typically takes 25 to 30 years to become an admiral in the U.S. Navy. Like, do people usually become admiral? Oh no, that's it's kind of like general. Like you have no idea how many people are in the major category, and they are that freaking important. Like they're not even colonels. You meet the colonel, and you're like, colonel can kill me. Like the colonel is the head field commander, like, but like all I'm saying is like somehow like this trans person becomes like the top of the military, and all we ever see is a picture of a trans person. Chinese aren't afraid of her. And like if you're a logical person, you think, I don't really care if my military is very strong. Like as long as everyone thinks our military is strong, we don't have to fight a war. But she's in charge. And like we all have to ask ourselves, like, how many trans people do we know? Well, one time there was the trans person at Burger King in Austin, Texas. That I remember that one, and then this other girl. Like, I mean, that's a girl. I mean, it was more of a guy than a girl. It was a girl though. She had big muscles. All I'm saying is like, I'm a person that knows a lot of trans people. Like I can suddenly go, oh yeah, well that I did live in the gay area in Chicago. There were the trans prostitutes I met. Like, but I didn't really meet them. They kind of were just like, hey baby, and like reaching out and grabbing my stomach one night when I was drunk. Like when I was walking home. And then there were the trans people at Dunkin' Donuts. I didn't actually meet them. Like you start realizing like you don't know any trans people, and you're hanging out with gay people constantly. But the trans person gets put in charge after 13 years? No, they were always trans. And it's because like we all need to constantly talk about trans people. Like it's a mafia conspiracy. Like this is Donald Trump and like the people who sell kids. Like these are drug dealers, and they need to get Republicans elected. Like I know you guys think, no, that's not true. I'm a Republican. Like I believe in Republican things. Like someone literally told me when I lived in Santa Barbara that the Republican Party is a conspiracy. They said like we're Republicans like because we're tricking people into voting for us that are poor, because like we want them to get less social services. Like we want to spend less money on the poor, but they're voting for us because they're Christians. And so like we're like, it's like they literally told me like you need to stop being against Republicans. And then they got me to endorse Bibi Netanyahu. Like this was like about 11 years ago. If there's anything I didn't want to do in my entire life was endorse Bibi Netanyahu. Like that's against everything I believe in. But I was like, okay, I'll endorse Bibi Netanyahu because like the people in charge, the mafia, needed me to endorse him. And which, as weird as it sounds, and like all I'm saying is the people in charge somehow made sure this person's an admiral, but like they're not allowed in the military. They weren't allowed in the military until like just now. It's like, oh, you're allowed in the military. Well, you're in charge.